Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. I'm Jackson Galbraith, your MC for this evening's event. Welcome to the 7th Annual Terrier Startup Challenge at Wofford College. The launch program...
I'm excited about it.
The launch program, Wofford's entrepreneurship program in the Career Center, has hosted the Terrier Startup Challenge as an annual pitch competition open for students to identify and develop their business idea. We aim at providing startup funding and encouragement to enable great ideas into the world. Since its beginning, the Terrier Startup Challenge has inspired innovative and high-impact student projects and experiences intended to solve pressing problems. There are 8 teams competing today for a chance to win a portion of $10,000. The third place winner will receive $1,500, the second place winner receives $3,000, and the grand prize winner will receive $4,500 towards their startup venture. Although first, second, and third place are chosen by our panel of judges, everyone in the audience will be able to participate in selecting the Audience Choice Award, who will receive $750. Welcome and best wishes to all the teams. We will now go over the rules for the competition. Each team has 3.5 minutes to give their business idea pitch. Time will begin when the competitor starts speaking and will end with when the timekeeper calls time. After the presentation time is up, judges will have 2 minutes to ask questions. Questions will not be received from the audience. The presentation order was pre-selected at random. Non-participants, which include faculty, parents, students, and guests, may only watch from the designated area and will not be permitted to communicate with the participants in any manner until there is an intermission or break announced by myself. We ask that devices be placed on silence during the competition or turned off. If an emergency arises, please leave the room to respond. Exits can be found in the back on both sides of the room, and restrooms are in the common area. Before putting your device away, please scan the QR codes that are placed throughout the theater to check in. Instructions on how to vote for the team of your choice will be shared later in the competition. For judges, at the end of each team's speech, the panel of judges will rate the presentation, ask questions, and finalize their remarks. Scoring rubrics will be collected and given to our scoring team, who will tally the scores. Allow me to introduce our judges. First, we have Mr. Joshua Riley. Mr. Riley is a Wofford College alumnus and is the co-founder of Sully's Steamers Franchising and has been the chief operating officer since its inception. After leaving Wofford, he began a career in finance. However, after one experience at a local restaurant, he knew his path would change. Partnering with Robert Sullivan to expand, Josh spent the first few years meticulously working on their product. Their first expansion launch came in February of 2020 in Clemson, South Carolina, with the second in Brevard, North Carolina shortly afterwards. With these successes, they then turned their minds to franchising the concept. Sully's Steamers is opening its 6th location in Spartanburg this month and has already signed 7 more locations. Outside of Sully's, Josh spends time with his family, is an avid runner, and is heavily involved in his community, including serving on the board of directors for Fall for Greenville and City of Greenville ATAX Committee. Next, we have Miss Ponthiola Mack Abernathy. She is a native of Bishopville, South Carolina, and is the owner and operator of Clevedale Historic Inn and Gardens, a bed and breakfast and events facility on Spartanburg's west side. Possessed of an entrepreneurial spirit and a love for people, Ponthiola turns possibilities into realities. Clevedale is the only current venture into small business ownership. A former radio news personality, she owns a woman's boutique in Alexandria, Virginia, and an executive apartment rental on Capitol Hill in D.C. that had an exclusive contract with the Folger Shakespeare Theater. This Nelson Mandela quote is what Ponthiola shares with each Terrier Startup Challenge participant. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. The support of family and friends has sustained Ponthiola in this venture, specifically that of her spouse, Paul Roberts Abernathy, a retired Episcopal priest and business partner. Lastly, we have Mr. Ralph Settle. Ralph is a 2004 graduate of Wofford College and of Clemson University's Master of Real Estate Development program. He began his career in the hotel hospitality industry, and from there, he rose to the role of Director of Development for a major property owner in the Spartanburg area. Over the course of his career, he has overseen the development, leasing, and management of assets, including medical office and retail, flex space, light industrial, raw residential land, apartment and condominiums, and more. Ralph is highly involved in the growth and development of the Spartanburg community, serving on the boards for the USC Upstate Capital Development Foundation, Habitat for Humanity of Spartanburg, and the Spartanburg Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. He also serves as the Vice Chair of Leadership for the Spartanburg Area Chamber of Commerce, more recently named One Spartanburg, Inc., and serves on their executive board. Please give them a warm welcome. We are ready to begin. As our first presenter gets positioned, again, we ask that you silence your devices until the intermission break. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the sound of a good duck call that doesn't break the bank. My name is Holden Irwin, and with my brother, I'm the co-founder and co-owner of Sawtooth Game Calls. We are a game call company in the hunting industry that focuses on duck calls, deer calls, and turkey calls. Before I dive in, I want to give you a little backstory on why me and my brother decided to get into the game call industry. So we've grown up hunting our entire lives, and we've had countless instances where we've been so close to harvesting the animal we wanted, but due to either a failure in a call or the way a call sounds, we were cut short of our desired goal. So my brother and I decided to address the problems in the call industry. One of the biggest problems is price. A price for a single duck call in some companies can range up to nearly $200. Another big problem is sound. A lot of companies have inconsistent sounds along their call lineup, and that is due to our next point, which is personal touch. A bunch of these big companies, they take a call, run it through a machine, put it in a package, and then send it to their customer. They don't field test it, they don't sit down and hand tune it, and they don't try it with every single call to get the near perfect sound. So the way we address these problems is, first, we make affordable calls for all skill sets. Whether you've just started hunting or whether you're an experienced hunter with years under your belt, we have a call for you. Our average call is about $40, while a leading competitor's call is about $100. We give personal touch to each call. We sit down, hand tune these calls, and get them to where they're a near perfect sound to get the hunter to their desired goal. Sawtooth cuts the price without sacrificing the quality. So our target market is, like I said, the hunting industry. We focus on deer hunters, turkey hunters, and duck hunters specifically. According to the Department of Natural Resources, there's 15 million hunters, licensed hunters in America alone. Our goal is to get these hunters to enjoy the sport they love for years to come without having to break the bank. So for those of you that don't know, maybe you don't hunt, game calls play a huge role in the hunting industry. It can take you from 300 to 400 yards away from an animal to just 10 or 20 yards away from an animal. With my brother and I's experience in the hunting world, we've been able to learn these sounds that animals make and reproduce them. We've sat down, and like I said, we've hand-tuned these calls, each call to get a near-perfect sound to help the hunter get the job done. So what would we do with the winnings? One of the big things we would focus on is advertising. We've been running Facebook ads and Instagram ads, which have had huge responsiveness. We've had hundreds of profile visits on both Instagram and Facebook because of these ads, and we've even had a lot of website visits. Another thing we would like to do is increase our inventory. And we would also like to produce new inventory. With leftover money, we could develop prototypes and create new products. Thank you for your time.
Judges, if you have questions or comments.
Yes. So you're hand tuning these, and it's you and your brother right now.
Yes,
As
sir.
you have increased output, how are you going to train others to understand the sounds they're looking for, and how are you going to handle that aspect of distribution?
It's not a hard process to teach for some of the calls. For other calls, it takes a lot more time to learn. The thing is, so the big part in a call, I don't know if y'all can see this, but this is a Mylar reed right here. We take a Mylar sheet and cut it down, and when air blows on it, that's what makes the sound. This right here takes maybe 2 to 3 minutes to make, and I believe with time we could train people to learn how to make calls.
Ophelia, would you like to, do you have a question for Will or comment?
Not right now.
All right.
Thank you.
Ralph, do you have a question for Will?
It seems like it might be a crowded industry. You can pick up budget calls from Dixon Academy, and then you can get your $200 calls custom made if you'd like to. Is there anything that sets you apart from the budget folks that you could get at Dixon Academy versus potentially the high-end custom made calls?
Yeah, we believe we have the sound of the high-end calls at the budget price. I've used a bunch of budgeted calls, and they just don't have the same sound as a bunch of those higher price calls. But hunters don't want to spend $100 season after season on a call and have to do that every year. So that's where I believe we have an advantage.
Any more questions? All right, thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Jaime Bustos and my business proposition is Litica. Before I get into Litica, I want to talk about my educational experience. I've had a range of good professors, bad professors. I've had interests spark and also demolished. And with that, I realized there comes flaws with traditional education. And with those problems, I've categorized them into something called the Big Three. The thing with traditional education that it can sometimes be boring. With traditional education, we are sat in the classroom and lectured for 90 minutes. When we're lectured for 90 minutes, when we haven't evolved that way. We've evolved by throughout history, we've evolved by learning and making mistakes, and learning through making mistakes and interacting with the real world. Also, education is inaccessible as everyone has different learning styles and ways of mastering tough content. With full-time jobs, part-time jobs, education can be pretty inaccessible. Education can also be pretty expensive, as with prices on the rise. Education is not accessible and can get pretty expensive, and people turn to online education. And that provides the solution of Litica. With Litica, it is an online educational platform that is gamified and fun, and all for free. Litica provides a virtual world where people are able to create characters, pass through levels, and also progress through a storyline. Litica combines learning with the real-world problems and online through real-world problems online. Within Litica, you're able to negotiate business contracts with other users, provide real estate services, learn how to invest in a virtual stock market, and also learn how to budget your money. With Litica, we believe in learning how you play, and the way you learn is by playing the game, and by playing the game, you're able to learn. The user base is divided simply into two. Our expected age range is 13 to 40 years old, with people who are students in high school and also GED pursuers. We also have a multi-purpose audience for those who we do not exclude, like people looking for new career opportunities and wanting to see if they like a certain subject. The e-learning competition is very competitive, but we have a different model that allows us an edge over the competition called the unique relationship model, where users are able to see ownership in their learning, which is very vital for learning, as they're able to see what they've built through what they've learned. I believe education should also be personable, as you can create your own path in Litica and also learn subjects that have other interests to you. Growth with Litica is very vital, and we see influence in thousands of colleges and libraries. We see growth with virtual reality, cryptocurrency, and NFTs, and we believe in donating profits to provide access to internet connection across the world. Litica isn't just a brand or a business, it's a revolution. We're revolutionizing the way we learn, transferring the in-person classroom into an online virtual playground. The monetary impact of this Terrier Startup Challenge will allow us to buy a domain name and have savings for future needs, like front-end development, security, and customer acquisition.
Thank you, Jaime. This time.
Yeah, what is the how are you getting revenue? Is it going to be a subscription based? Is it going to
Yeah, so with Litica, we're going to run native ads and also provide a subscription service that doesn't give you a competitive advantage over users, just like aesthetics, like designs for your character, or different places to build like a house, for example, in the world of Litica.
No, I don't.
Rob, do you have any questions or comments?
You mentioned some of the competitors that you feel like you have something that kind of sets you apart. Do you have any idea how large that user base is of those competitor groups?
Yeah, so the market for e-learning right now last year was 30 billion, and we see it growing to almost over 200 billion in the United States by 2030. And so as users grow and users look for an alternative to in-person education, like online education, we're going to be taking the first step in creating almost like an all-around educational experience, but online.
who developed the AI?
Sir?
The team in developing the AI. Who is
This is
involved?
just a proposition right now.
Proposition?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Matthew, and I'm the founder of Freedom Tree Investment Group. I became fascinated with the stock market 3 years ago, and ever since then, I've spent thousands of hours studying investment strategy. I've built stock trading algorithms using Python, and I've taken inspiration from Warren Buffett and other great investors. Let me show you what I've learned. Here's the great dilemma. 99% of investment professionals fail to beat the market over the long term. Because of this, the average investor is fleeing to index funds to avoid underperformance. And index funds are just diversified and passive funds that match the market. So why can't Wall Street beat the market? Here's my explanation. Wall Street focuses on exploiting short-term price movements rather than investing for the long term. And this focus does not create value for the economy because it does not provide any sort of service. And since no value is created, Wall Street plays a zero-sum game of winners and losers. This is what I call price-centered investing, and it's why Wall Street can't beat the market. For example, Wall Street encourages day trading, algorithmic trading, technical analysis, shorting, options and futures trading, and all sorts of other price-centered strategies. Here's the new paradigm. It's called business-centered investing, and it's focused on the intrinsic value of the business. And the intrinsic value is the current value of all future cash flows that a business will pay to its owner throughout its life. And business-centered investing actually fulfills the purpose of investing in that it provides capital to businesses that create value and avoids businesses that destroy value. And because the investor is focused on creating value for the economy, it is actually a positive sum game because the investor can expect to receive some of that value back. And this is actually, because it's a positive sum game, it is a viable and realistic way to beat the market. So we are an investment management company, essentially an active fund. And therefore, we are targeting young and wealthy investors who invest aggressively for the long term and who seek long-term security. And I believe we can provide long-term security because we focus on achieving the highest possible returns in the long term. instead of focusing on the reduction of short-term volatility, which is what Wall Street really focuses on. But I think they're wrong about that, because that doesn't really provide security against inflation, taxes, and still leaves room to let people accomplish their financial goals in the long term. Here are my credentials. I'm a 2-time valedictorian. I have perfect SAT and ACT math scores, and I was a high school state chess champion. Given this, I do believe I have the potential to be an investment manager. Here are my plans for the prize money. I'm going to design a logo, build a website, and then get business cards to launch a marketing campaign. And once I find my first investor, I'm going to hire a lawyer to develop the legal framework for the fund. Altogether, it's not going to cost too much, maybe a few $1,000s, so I could actually start the business if I won the competition. So it could be incredibly impactful for me. Thank you for listening.
Josh, do you have any questions, comments?
Not quite yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, do you have an example of how you would approach this? You just kind of gave theory. I was wondering, like, real-world example.
You want me to give an example of some business?
Sure.
Okay, so for example, Google, it's a great company. They have a very strong competitive advantage. You would, instead of looking at trying to predict price movements, which theoretically, if you can do, then you can make money. Instead of trying to do that, you really focus on the intrinsic value, like I said, which is the current value of all future cash flows that the business will pay to its owner throughout its life. So Google, in my opinion, has very high intrinsic value relative to its price because it has, like I said, a very strong competitive moat. It has incredible growth potential. It has great management. It has incredible financials. And there's a whole bunch of other things that I really like about Google, but that's one example of a company that really fits this criteria. But all companies, they have some sort of intrinsic value. If they will pay some sort of cash flows in the future. If it's just going bankrupt, then it's worth zero. But if it's going to pay some sort of cash flows, then it is worth something. So you have to look at that, try to evaluate that intrinsic value objectively, and create an approximation for that, and then compare that to the price. And if the price looks good relative to the intrinsic value, based on a lot of analysis metrics, qualitative and quantitative, then you can make an investment decision based on that.
You said you built that Python algorithm. How many companies have you gone ahead and put through? What sample size do you have so far?
Yeah, that was my first year of investing. So I don't do that anymore because that actually fits into the category of price-centered investing. Okay. I was trying to predict price, and I realized through that what I was doing was very, very useless, and I was playing a zero-sum game where I was just trading against other people, and I wasn't creating actual value. And when you're not creating actual value, this is just basic economics, it's very hard to get value back for yourself. So the basic premise of business-centered investing is to create value for the economy, which is really what investing is supposed to be about. And then because you're doing that, you can expect to receive some of that value back.
Let me adjust then, sorry. What is your sample size of businesses that you evaluated?
Oh, for the algorithm? Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so that's not really a part of the business, but it was, I believe, about 10. I was trading with the algorithm, but that's not even.
No, I mean in the current business center, how many businesses? Obviously, you just rifled off about Google. How many other businesses have you analyzed?
I've probably, if you look at like surface level analysis, I've probably analyzed thousands of businesses so far.
All right, thank you. Hey everybody, my name is William Crouch, and my idea is Blink cameras. So I'm sure y'all have all been in the situation where you're at a concert, or say you're watching a sunset. You go to take a picture, you zoom in, zoom out, turn the flash on. And by the time you get the picture, the moment's gone. So that's really what we're trying to fix with Blink cameras. How are we going to do that? First, we're going to be hyper portable, and this just means that you can take this camera with you anywhere. The idea is that you don't realize you have the camera until you actually need to use it. Next, we have fixed specs. So that just means that this camera is going to do everything for you. We're trying to keep it simple and keep you in the moment, so it's as simple as just point and shoot. It's going to be autofocus, auto exposure, and a fixed field of view. And then last, we have connectivity. So the last thing you want to worry about when you're taking pictures is where are these pictures going when I'm done. So you can have this camera tethered to your phone so the photos go there, or you have traditional SD capabilities where you can just put them on a computer when you're done. So as far as target market goes, most likely a younger age demographic are going to be the people using and buying this camera. The best thing about it though is this camera is super easy to use, so anybody of any age group can use this camera. And then as far as growth goes, we want to have an interactive app where we can edit photos and post them directly to social media through our app. And then we want to have a strong social media presence. This is going to be vital for the growth of this company. And that ties into our ambassador program. We can seek out people on social media to represent us and say I'm an ambassador, I take a picture with the camera and say I took this with Blink cameras. This can be an organic way that we can grow the company. So now we have competition. So I've chosen 3 companies that are probably going to rival this camera. And if you take a look at the criteria, first we have Canon. So with Canon, you're going to get great pictures. You know, it's a super nice camera, but there's a ton of settings. It can be hard to use, and it's not very portable. Next, we have Polaroid. So you're going to get okay pictures with a Polaroid, but it's going to be super easy to use, and you can take it just about anywhere. And then last, we have iPhone. This is probably going to be our closest competitor. You're going to get great pictures. You know, it fits in your pocket, super easy to use. But the difference with an iPhone is it can cost upwards to $1,000. And with Blink, we're trying to stay under the $100 price point. Now we have our business model. There's 3 ways that we're going to make money. So first, it's going to be direct sales. So this would be if somebody bought it directly off our website, or if we had a brick and mortar store and they came in and bought a camera. Next, we have manufacturing sales. So this would be if we sold the camera to, say, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and then they sell the camera in their store. And then finally, we have social media. As I said, social media is going to be very important for this company, but we can also bring in revenue off of our social media platforms. And then as far as next steps go, so first and foremost, if I do win the money, I want to make a prototype. I want to get this camera in my hands. And then after a few iterations of prototypes, once we have a product that we're comfortable with, we can move on to advertising and building our online status, really creating buzz around the product. And then from there, it's just scaling up, you know, building our client base and just growing. So that's all I have for you. If you have any questions or just want to reach out, here's my contact information. Thank you.
Yeah, one of your big values is portability. One of your big values is being able to take it wherever you
Yeah,
want.
definitely.
And comparing that with a user like myself, which has a phone, and you said your biggest competitor is iPhone.
Right.
How do you see the market changing so that I would want to have both my phone and a camera?
So the big thing with this camera is how quick it can take a picture, and we're aiming to have a camera that, you know, rivals an iPhone camera. So I think the difference is this camera is really going to have a wide angle view, and it's going to capture exactly what you want, like that. Whereas an iPhone, there's so many settings that you can toy with, and we're trying to get away from, you know, taking 15, 20 pictures at a time and really going through them. We just want to take one and just be done with it to stay in the moment, you know, capture the moment. So I think that's why somebody would want it, is because it's quick and easy, and you can trust that, you know, it's capturing what you're seeing.
What about size?
I'm shooting to be, you know, iPhone size. If you think of a disposable camera or, you know, something about that big. Realistically, since it is going to have fixed specs, it's not going to need a ton of hardware inside of the camera. So I think form factor, we could keep it, you know, to that size. That's the goal.
Any more questions or comments?
You discussed the app and potentially building that. The biggest thing for me with cameras these days is being able to store all of my kids' stuff
Right.
on iCloud.
Right.
Do you have any sort of automatic backing up or anything like that in your
Yeah,
vision?
that would be the goal. Realistically, I'd want to model the app after, I don't know if you know DJI or GoPro. If you take footage with their devices, it goes onto the app and does have a cloud storage on your device. So that way we can keep it, you know, in-house on our app, but also it's another place to store. questions or comments? All right, thank you. We're now going to take a 5-minute intermission. All right, so if you haven't already, please remember to scan the QR code if you haven't to check in, and that'll help with, after the next set of presenters, y'all will vote for your favorite pitcher, and we'll go over the rules after. So let's get ready for our next presenter.
Hi, I'm Carolina Woody, and I would like to introduce Carolina Style Clean. The problem I see is there aren't that many small cleaning services offered in Spartanburg, much less South Carolina. And there's definitely no need-based cleaning services that I could find, so services that try to work with the price, whatever budget you may have. And I also know that being in an aesthetic environment, especially clean environment, is beneficial physically, mentally, and emotionally. So why shouldn't your house or your car or your office, especially your bedroom, which is where you go to relax, be that space for you if you can't travel, in your free time? The difference with Carolina Style Clean is that we offer a judgment-free environment. So whatever we walk into, it's none of our business what happened, or it's just, we'll clean it, no questions asked, unless it's a crime scene, because that's definitely not where we're headed. We offer a personal touch with each and every service we offer, no matter how big or small. It's not just a job to us. It's not just a client. We want to be friends with whoever we're working with. We want to change their day-to-day life, and I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true. So our target market would be people who don't have time to clean, so busy parents, busy students, people who don't have the ability to clean, so senior citizens. Like my grandma, this is where I got the idea too, and my cousin who's a really busy parent. She never has time to clean because she's got 2 crazy toddlers on her hands. Emergency messes with the ability, so if you're getting ready for Thanksgiving or something, I know that's coming up, and you spill cream corn all over the floor, that's terrible, but cheap solution right here. Leisurely, nobody really likes cleaning unless you're weird like me, because I do, but it's not what I would prefer to do in my free time. So, and also cost effective it's like a cheaper option for businesses or small restaurants or boutiques or whichever. We offer better prices. It's need-based, so there you go. Our business model, let's say we're looking at a bathroom. The simplest one would be the quick once-over, like the cheapest option. So that's like reorganizing, dusting, sweeping, just a little easy peasy. The classic would be like basically the simple service, plus wiping down surfaces, objects with a disinfectant or natural if you don't like chemicals. Plus cleaning mirrors. The silver would be the classic, plus mopping and scrubbing the tub in the shower and an air freshener perhaps. And then the gold would be the deep clean with a decor included. And I actually brought a little example of the decor, because it's pretty cheap, but you'd be surprised at what difference it makes in a little small space, honestly. And the gold, excuse me. The gold, did I skip the silver? Probably. Anyways, they keep getting better and better as you get on down the line. And with the platinum, the gold, and the silver, basically any of these, we offer subscription basis. So if you don't have enough money to pay for the platinum every single time, you could get like the classic or the simple every couple of weeks. Oh,
Thank you.
sorry. Questions. What questions do you have?
For growth, obviously you would be doing cleaning at the beginning, but how do you plan to acquire labor and develop that side of the business and get other people to clean houses?
That's one of the unknowns that I didn't get to mention, but right now it's just me, and I actually have a friend who's working in finance at SCC who I wanted to be my financial lady, if you will, to help me with costs and, oh my, I'm pressing buttons. And potentially I was gonna look for more people to help be team members, like cleaning, but it would have to be like interviews and stuff, because I'd want them to be, you know, like me, judgment-free and kind and stuff like that, not to brag or anything.
For growth, do you have any thoughts in doing organization of the places so that it's easier for people to keep clean and for you to decrease your cleaning time?
I haven't really given much thought, but I've thought of partnering with different things like the nursing homes and stuff, where people can't really clean up their own rooms, and nurses don't really get paid to clean up after, they're just paid to take care of them and stuff. Thought of partnering with real estate agencies and stuff like that to prepare for open houses, and maybe cleaning up after the open house, maybe, or cleaning up after someone's getting ready to move out, you know. Or even other colleges, like if Wofford or I don't know, SEC or Clemson wanted to partner with, like, maybe not, I would hope it would be my business, but I could do like dorm cleaning services or like hallway, library, whichever.
Any more questions or comments?
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Will Behringer, and I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. This past spring, my dad asked me to look around for someone to detail our boat. As I began calling and researching, I figured that all the business in our area were either outrageously expensive or not convenient to us. My friend and I then came up with the idea to just do it ourselves. After hours of research and buying products, we successfully detailed my boat. This led to us moving to Lake Martin, which is around 30 miles away from Montgomery, and the formation of our mobile boat detailing business. So the biggest problem in the boat detailing business right now is pricing. Boats are an investment. Keeping them clean and intact helps to hold a boat's value. Spending an outrageous amount of money to do this is not something everybody wants to do. Next is time. Not a lot of people have an abundance of time set aside to clean their boat throughout their week. And third is accessibility. Working on Lake Martin, the majority of these people do not live in these homes. They're predominantly vacation or weekend homes, and a lot of these people don't own trailers or their boats are in dry storage, making it virtually impossible for them to move their boat around the lake out of the water. So why are we the solution? Well, we offer reasonable pricing. We charge anywhere from $7 to $15 a foot. Second is conveniency. By coming to you, we are able to make it work to your schedule. And third is residency. 90% of our customers are not full-time residents of these homes. People do not want to take the time out of their weekend to clean their boat. Instead, they want to enjoy the weekend on their clean boat. And lastly is high-quality work. We leave all of our customers satisfied with what they pay for, and the proof is in those packets right there. So why are we better than our competition? Well, our top 3 local competitors are charging $16 a foot on average. The average size of a boat on Lake Martin is 21 feet. With that being said, getting your boat detailed with one of our competitors is going to be $336, and that's the minimum. With 334 Marine, our minimum pricing is right at $150. Secondly, we come to you. While some local companies will come to you, that comes with a hefty price. On average, these companies are charging an additional $100 to $200 to service your boat at your home. With my mobile boat detailing service, we have no additional fee for coming to your house inside of a 20-mile radius. And lastly is weekends. While our competitors are taking the weekends off, we stay open. So the range of age of my customers from this past summer was anywhere between 35 to 80 years old. Boat ownership has increased 40% since COVID, making detailing businesses in a much higher demand. 61% of boat owners are making less than $100,000 a year. That shows that not everyone owning a boat has $300 to $600 or $800 to spend every month or every other month out of the summer to get their boat clean. And like I've previously mentioned, residency. A large majority of these boat owners do not live in these houses on the lake, so that makes it so much more important for someone to come to their property to clean their boat. So why this business will succeed? Well, we've already have 50 clients and have cleaned over 60 boats. We did $9,300 in income on only 125 hours of work. After the math, that is roughly $75 an hour. With great reviews and a great summer of getting our name out there, it's only up from here. We started this business with little to no marketing knowledge, and we've learned a lot of new tricks, and we've built a solid social media presence. There's only bright things in our future. And lastly, what will I do with the money if I win? First off, we want to hire. The goal with the potential winnings is to expand our team from 2 to 4 people. This will allow us to do twice the work we have been doing. Secondly is marketing. This money could elevate our marketing game to a whole new level, allowing us to have paid advertising through Instagram and Facebook. And lastly is utilities. Detailing products are crazy expensive. New tools and products will allow us to work quicker and provide an even more high-end service. Thank you.
Yeah, what is your, you were talking about what you made, but last year, I'm curious, what was your cost of goods in your current utilities, and how do you plan for that to decrease?
I think the total was about $862.
Okay.
So.
And the thought is with this money to have that, with more efficient, decrease that amount, make it more profitable?
Yeah, so, yeah, with the money, we'd be able to
Get more efficient equipment.
the work we do. So
Okay.
with newer or nicer products, we'll be able to work quicker. Say
Okay.
a job
Decrease
takes
labor.
3 hours, yeah, labor.
Perfect.
Correct.
Do you see an opportunity to expand into maybe winterization of boats? I mean, it's a very seasonal aspect to,
Right.
especially since Alabama,
Yeah.
you know, definitely gets cold there too. It's not like we're living in Key West here. So it seems to be very seasonal. So there are, I'm assuming, people who do winterizations of boats when they sit up for 6 to 8 months a year. Is that something that you would think about doing as well?
You're just saying detail the boat
Yeah, I'm just
prior
thinking,
to putting
yeah,
it
'cause
up. Yeah, so
Seems like a very seasonal business.
I actually had numerous amounts of texts and calls within the last 6 weeks asking to get their boat detailed prior to putting it up, and obviously being here, I couldn't get that done. But yeah, if I could get a couple more people that are living in the area, then definitely.
Any more questions? All right, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ross Flaw, and I am the founder of Yeah Doggy Company. We are a clothing brand that will provide clothing and accessories for you to have when you're outside, you're on the water, whether you're hunting, you're fishing, whether you're in the mountains, or whether you're on the boat. When you're outside, we'll have something for you to put on you. Something that holds a dear place in our hearts, and in my heart specifically, is breast cancer awareness. Part of our profits for each item that we sell will go to the Susan G. Komen Foundation for Breast Cancer Awareness. My mom passed away when I was 2 years old, and I found that my love for being outside and my wanting to have a connection with her, the brand was a great way to do that. So primarily, our first problem, or our main problem, is that I find that not too many people are aware of the alternatives to monetary donations. And our solution for that is to donate your time. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Community events is a great way, specifically, especially here in Spartanburg, as well as I have ties in Aner and Conway and Pawleys Island and a low part of South Carolina as well, all of which hold seasonal yearly events. And I would love to take advantage of that and be able to do that. And as far as targeting consumers, many people have been affected by breast cancer, and many people have not. And so we're targeting all ages, all genders, but especially women that have been directly affected by this. But anybody who enjoys wearing clothes that represent their hobby of being outside, being in nature. With the funding, we will fund our business with the winnings. Specifically, we will be able to expand on involvement within the community. The more money we have initially, the quicker we can act. But no matter where we start, I will eventually get to where I want to be. We will start with koozies because those are cheaper. We will order 50 koozies. That's $65 for 50. We sell them for $3 each. That's $150. That's $84.70 profit. 20% of that will go to the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and other items we will donate based on the cost of those and as we grow and as we move forward. Similar companies to Yeah Doggy will be our Fish Hippie and Southern Tide. We're both from the Carolinas, and both of which sell koozies more expensive than ours, but not necessarily in better quality per se. And as I move forward, like I said, I will be able to, myself and others will be able to analyze other companies and other items besides koozies, because that is not what we limit ourselves to. And these are just some ideas of what our merchandise will look like. And thank you so much for your time.
Done the research on pricing. What is your procurement method right now? How are you getting your base koozies, your merchandise?
Oh, so we're ordering from a company called Premium Koozies, but you're asking where we're getting our items from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So also I have family friends who their family owns companies that supply retail items. So I will buy from them. I also would just various there's in Greenville, there's the Graphic Cow T-shirt company. That's where we're going to start. They supply us with comfort colors, and then they will screen print my design. And I didn't clarify this. My designs come from a student out of Clemson. She draws these up for me. I come up with the idea. I tell her what I want, and she draws it up for me. She's a family friend as well from Pawleys Island.
How did you come up with the name?
The name. So I knew that would be kind of amusing and not many of you would understand it. But growing up, an old family friend would always say, "Yeah, doggy," as a way to like right on. Yeah, doggy. That's kind of it means something to me, and I thought it's a funny way to put it on a T-shirt. It started as a joke, and obviously is now much more than a joke. Not a joke at all now.
In your pricing model there, how have you thought about the labor scenario?
As far as getting other people to work for me, is that what you're saying? Yeah. So initially, I plan to do a lot by myself, and I think I can, with the artist, obviously. And I also have some friends from school. There's another name, Ellis Green. He's a student at Wofford. He's also helping just put ideas in my mind. And but initially, I will be the one that we will have a website. I will be the one that will be shipping them off, and I will be the one that goes in person and sells these. We have a Venmo. I'd be like, hey, this is the Venmo, and I'll be the one that does most of the selling initially. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Meg Santos.
And I'm Kate Timms.
And we're Talking Pieces. Talking Pieces came to me as an idea, as a shower thought, and I could not stop thinking about it. And it was kind of obscure because it brought together disc golf, artists, and community together. But we're super excited to be sharing this disc golf company with you tonight.
We want to solve the challenge of exposure. For who? Artists. Meg and I are both starting artists, and we understand and empathize with the obstacles faced to market and sell our art.
Similarly, some conversations are not always welcome, so we want to fix that. Artists want exposure, so we provide a platform. Talking Pieces is a disc golf company that aims to give the opportunity for artists to design on something and talk about something that we don't always talk about. And these topics can range from mental health to diversity.
How will we do this? We'll seek out our artists, tell them about our conversation starters. If they're interested, we'll buy their work. Artists will gain exposure through their work, and we'll provide resources and the artist information on the bottom of the disc.
We would launch limited edition discs, which would curate a unique experience with an original touch from artist to the customer. And this would provide ease for the artist because we would make sure that their name takes flight.
So that leaves us with our target market. Anybody who is interested in the outdoors, art, and community are potential customers for Talking Pieces.
In the US, Charlotte is ranked number 4 for playing disc golf, and here in South Carolina, Spartanburg is also ranked number 4.
We plan to tap into these local demographics and are determined to grow as well.
And in terms of competition, we know that there are larger disc golf companies that already place designs on discs or logos, but we allow people to engage in a conversation while also owning a piece of art that is fun and informative.
And what else sets us apart? We curate a world that is specific to a topic, and our QR code links us to resources and the artist's socials, and then a percentage of our profits will go to an organization about that month's conversation.
And in terms of our team, we would have rotating artists, nonprofits, and partnerships to really curate the Talking Pieces experience.
Meg and I will be the first featured artists, and we'll be partnering with Innova, a disc golf company that allows for bulk custom orders for our manufacturer. So that leaves us at our ask, what will we do with the money? We want to curate a digital community on our website to sell, inform, and connect. We'll buy our first batch of discs and pay our first initial artists, and we also want to experiment with material for future launches.
And in terms of growth, we desire to be a business that outsources independently while also opening our horizons to sustainable products. And subject to your questions and concerns, this concludes our pitch.
Thank you so much for coming, and have an amazing night.
Love these. We're tying this to disc golf and disc golf players out there. Do you see any other avenues of the outdoor world, outdoor space that you want to get into?
Yeah, so we initially started with disc golf. It's a easily accessible community, easy to tap into, huge target market. But we want to expand after our first probably year to 3 years into other outdoor products like frisbees or blankets that just promote people getting out into the outdoors and spending time together.
I may have missed it. What's the cost for this?
So Innova sells these for $7, and we would buy about 250 to 300 and price them at about 25. The competitive advantage is like $20 to $30 for disc golfs of this quality, but we want to be able to pay our artists, so we're looking at $25 for this.
From disc golf, are you going to do the same style every time of actual disc?
So there's a range of different kinds, and we understand that this is a very passionate thing for the disc golf community, so we'd also like to appease those kinds of needs and offer like putters, drivers, all the different kinds as well.
Have you thought about the percentage of what you would pay your artists based on your costs?
So they have a range that I can actually choose from based off the amount of discs that we will offer for the launch. So say they want to be on a certain number of discs, we will pay them, we're looking at like $300 at the minimum for their sketch or work. Then they'll send it, and then we'll take care of the rest.
And lastly, is there a tracking method for them to know that people came from your discs? So the artists know that they're getting a good feedback. People are coming back to them after seeing your discs.
So if you turn it over, the QR code on the back it takes us right now to the Talking Pieces Instagram, but in the future it'll take them straight to theirs, and so we'd like to be able to connect these communities stronger on our website, and so actually having these artists be able to see these people impacted by their art would be a goal, and we want to take that to social media to be able to do that with like blog posts or TikTok with people talking about the art or expressing their interest in it.
Any questions? All right, thank you. That was our last pitch, so can we give them all one more round of applause? All right, so we heard some really great business ideas tonight. But the question is, which one do you think was the best? Now is when you, as audience members, get to put matters into your own hands. Pull your cell phones out, open a web browser. You know what a web browser is. And type in, can you see the link? It's at the top of the screen. You can see it. You will receive a list of tonight's teams and their business venture name. Select the name of the venture you would choose to win. Choose carefully because you can only vote one time. Voting will stay open for the next 3 minutes before closing the polls. Thank you for voting. As scores are being tallied, we are going to hear a few remarks from the Executive Director of the Career Center. Please welcome Mr. Kurt McPhail.
Thanks so much, and thanks to all of you all for coming. One of the things that's important, our mission in the Career Center is to make sure that students are best prepared for life after Wofford. What you saw tonight was opportunities for students not only to learn and grow, to gain an entrepreneurial mindset, but also to have things that they can offer up in interviews, right? Tell me about a time when you did something that was outside of your comfort zone. Tell me about a time when something didn't go exactly like you had planned. Or tell me about a time when you really were successful. So I would love for us to give the presenters one more round of applause because this was not easy for them. What also wasn't easy is judging these student presentations. Our judges asked great questions and they took their job super serious with filling out their forms, which had lots of things, lots of math as well. So let's give them one more round of applause. All right, we're going to be clapping a lot. So one of our presenters tonight, it's his birthday. So I feel like we should all wish William Crouch a happy birthday. Happy birthday, William. So judges, I hope you found your gift bag. Participants, I hope you found your gift bag underneath your chair. And I've got a few more special thanks to say for tonight. One of the things that is really awesome about Wofford is that we have a really engaged marketing and communications office. Mark, you've sat here all night and taken pictures. I'm really appreciative. Jeremy, you have been the person behind the camera making sure that we can keep this. And all of the marketing efforts gone into that. I want to thank you. Dr. Kimberly Hall, will you stand up for a second, wave your hand. If you don't know Kimberly, Dr. Hall teaches in the... Exactly. Teaches in the English department, and thank you to her students for creating TikToks for each of the competitors. Lastly, I want to thank our team. This is not this is a team sport, right? And the team, as you can see, has been super involved tonight. Lee Smith and Rebecca Parker over here, Adita Soto and Jen Sinofsky in the back. Dr. T was here as well, but she's coming back. So all of us were super involved. And I also want to extend my special thank you to Sarah Butler, who has worked this entire semester building a launch program, revamping our launch program, and executing tonight. So let's give our team a big round of applause. The last thing I'll say before you watch the TikToks is we believe in student-centered work. Our career ambassadors have personed the scorecards. We have been part of being an MC. If you are a Career Center ambassador with the Career Center, please raise your hand so we can give you one last round of applause. Without further ado, we're going to show the TikToks and then we'll make a check presentation to the winner.
All right, so we're going to announce the winners. The judges, please join Sarah and Kurt at the front of the room, please. Wait a minute. All right. So the winner of the Audience Choice Award goes to Sawtooth Game Calls for Holden Oil.
All right, third place.
What? Do you want to try to talk to her?
Can we get
You want to get the...
It's the Wi-Fi, something went down, we can't change the screen.
Okay. That's all right. What if you just turn it on? All right. Okay, whatever. It's fine. There we go. All right. Well, we're going to do that again because the third place winner is also Sawtooth Game Calls. Hold it. Get it on, Kirk.
Put up your logo.
There we go. Nice.
Thank you.
All right. Our second place winner goes to 334 Marine, Will Behringer. You got it? All right. And the big check, the first place winner goes to Talking Pieces.
Thank you.